and we are about to begin the QB Power Hour webinar series, your bi-weekly dose of insights and learning for accounting professionals with co-host Dan DeLong and along with Matthew Spot Fulton. We're here to explore the latest in the industry, QuickBooks, and integrations that matter to you. For more details on the series, visit qbpowerhour.com. Before we get started with the main content, we want to cover a few housekeeping tips. Any handouts or resources mentioned today will be provided for download, so no frantic note-taking required. If you miss anything or want to revisit a section, don't worry, video and audio replays of this live webinar will be available after the session. For everyone joining us live on Zoom, please use the Q&A panel for content-specific questions so we can address them directly during the session or follow up later. If you've got general comments or want to chat with your fellow attendees, use the chat feature. We love seeing your thoughts and reactions, so let's get started.
Welcome. We'll get started shortly. Before we begin, here's how to earn continuing professional education credit for attending this session. There are no polling questions or attendance checks. Instead, you will demonstrate your knowledge by taking a brief multiple-choice quiz using the Earmark app. Visit earmark.app in your web browser. You can also download the mobile app by scanning the QR code on the screen. Log in, or if you're new, create your free account. Be sure to use a valid email address because that's where we'll send your course completion certificates. From the home screen, scroll down to find the course. You can also tap the magnifying glass icon to search for the course. Tap on the course artwork, then the Enroll button. On the Course tab, you'll find the recording and quiz questions. Complete the quiz to earn your CPE certificate. It takes us a few days to create the course on the app, so if you are attending this session live, please wait a few days. We'll email you a link to the course when it is ready. If you have questions or need help, email us at support@earmarkcpe.com. And now, on to the event.
All right, I'm going to get this right. Yes, Sharrin, I did it. This is the struggle is real for trying to get these slides to cooperate appropriately. Well, welcome everyone to our last of 2025 QB Power Hour. This one is all about books to books, and we'll be talking about how to do some advisory from with business strategies in a platform. We have Bryan joining us from Autymate to talk about how that is happening, and I'm really excited that he's joining us and talking about how to do that. So my name is Dan DeLong, owner at Danwith and School of Bookkeeping, worked at Intuit for nearly 18 years, co-hosting today also over at Workshop Wednesdays at School of Bookkeeping. Oddly enough, that's on Wednesdays. Sharrin, you look very festive.
Well, you know, it's our last one before the holidays. So, I mean, how often do you get to put a tree on your head and a pickle on your ears?
Exactly.
That's me on the slide.
That's you. Fantastic. Bryan, welcome to the show again. We've had you on in a couple times in the past, but for those that may not have seen that or recognized you, talk a little bit about and introduce yourself for the folks.
Hello, Bryan Perdue. Excited to meet. We've been in the franchise and accounting space for about 10 years now, and really good at using AI to help businesses be more successful. 96% of businesses fail in 10 years. So we want to help use AI to kind of bend that curve so more businesses are successful. So they could be good, not just at their financials, but their operations, sales, and even legal.
Yeah, and on this slide here, if you download the handouts, there is a link to a prior workshop, and we'll talk a little bit about what's in that workshop later on in the presentation today. And hopefully, there it goes. But there we go. Well, it wouldn't be a power hour unless I had some kind of shenanigans with the slides.
It's a double dose of Dan.
There you go.
It's a Dan inception. A Dan
inception, right. We must go deeper. Well, if you're just joining us for the first time on the QB Power Hour, it's a bi-weekly series. We do have CPE available, not for the live sessions, and we will have poll questions, but they don't count for the for the CPE credit. That's all handled by our friends over at Earmark. About five days after today, they'll put that up on our channel at Earmark, and you can get the CPE for the webinar for today. All right, so our agenda today is we're going to be talking about this concept that Intuit talked about at Intuit Connect. So we are sprinkling a little bit of Intuit Connect post mortem about this concept that they're referring to called human intelligence and Intuit intelligence. I'm reminded of an oxymoron.
Yeah, I couldn't even hide my face on that one, but okay.
I know. It's kind of like Microsoft Works, right?
No, it doesn't.
It's the biggest oxymoron. But then after that, we'll be talking about how to leverage AI for advisory. It is, definitely a top of Intuit's mind about how to use AI. But with the help of Bryan and the folks at Autymate, we'll be talking about how we can actually leverage AI for making advisory and allowing that. So we'll talk about the state of the industry, applying books to books, and then a demo from Autymate and some Q&A. All right. So our first poll question, Sharrin, you're up.
Yeah, I will launch it. I'll launch it. There we go, guys.
This is actually quite a bit. There's multiple questions there. We just want to get an understanding as to where you are.
There's homework.
Yeah. I should have sent it out before so that we Sorry,
know. Everybody. I was unaware that you were going to have to do work today.
Right. I also forgot to hide. Wait. Where are they?
I don't know what you're doing.
I'm trying to hide the non-video participant. There we go. That way, if anybody happens to be looking at and wondering who Francisco and Johar are, they are with Autymate, and so they'll be answering any questions that you might have about the platform. But while you're filling in your homework there, let's go ahead and talk about the Intuit news, Intuit intelligence, and human intelligence, right? So.
I need to go on mute.
Yeah. Yes, that's what we appreciate you about.
I don't know. I just read
there is no filter.
The Facebook group. All I do every day is just read things. And I know there was a big old discussion yesterday about something not coding correctly, or it was a mess. And so right off the bat, I'm making my notes down so I can tell all my snarky jokes at once. But right off the bat, we are the AI of Intuit, right? So while they're stomping on us, they're also using our human intelligence to program their AI so their software works. So just remember that, everybody, that whenever you're mad at Intuit, the more data you put into it, the smarter Intuit. Oh, whoa. Is that what that means? Anyhow, whoa. The smarter the software gets. Get it? The more you put into it, is that what they meant by that? Am I just getting that right now? I don't know. I'm this many years old. Anyhow, I'll write everything else down from here forward.
So in a couple years ago, right, there was this big fanfare about Intuit Assist, right? And there's a press release that I've linked to in the slides here about the promise of what Intuit Assist and the AI engine that Intuit was creating. And they were branding it their own, large language model, and it's called Gen OS, right? And so it had all this promise of, being able to turn conversations and documents into estimates, invoices, and bills, right? You getting paid faster. Moving from paid to automating books with less errors, right? We're at the infancy stage of that. And one of the things in the press release that really caught my attention when they announced all this stuff is that you'll be able to connect with an expert whenever something happens that you need a human interpreter, right? So my question at that point was, who the experts are they talking about, right? Because we have a various definition, a very generous definition of the word expert. And it looks as if, and as since that began my quest, right, to figure out who they are talking about when they say AI powered experts and so on and so forth. And I think we all knew that was the Intuit branded QB Live umbrella of the definition of experts. And I don't want to say anything bad about them because they are real people, and a lot of
Oh my
those real
God,
people,
they own us. They're like Chase Bank and Walmart, like in the accounting world. I'm waiting for somebody with a green briefcase to show up at my doorstep, open it, and take me out, and they'll go, "You know why?" Taken out by the Intuit mafia.
right? But in the grand scheme of things, human, AI at this point, and we've had these conversations with Michelle in the past, is that AI at this point is an intern, right? It requires adult supervision, so it requires some human oversight, so it hasn't quite gotten to the point of being the AI overlord that we all envision it to be, because there are plenty of science fiction novels and books and and movies that warn us about the power of AI. And Bryan, I wanted to ask you to kind of chime in, because you were the first person to tell me about how AI is going to be helping accountants. And at that point, I was like, oh no, I'm a little bit afraid. And you were like, don't be afraid of AI. What is your what is your assessment of where AI is in general, and where, what the potential is for it?
Yeah, I think we're living in a really exciting time right now because, your ability to do is 10x, right? Now, is your ability to intend 10x? And what I mean by intend, it means, are you able to, let's say you had a team of people, right? 20 people. Could you tell all 20 people what to do and get them all to work together and build a good result for a client, for yourself, for other people? If you can do that, then you're going to do fantastic with AI, because basically, you can get it to work like with your intentions. But without your intentions, AI can't help. It's not helpful. And so really what's more important than anything is your customer's intentions, understanding what they're trying to get, understanding what they're able to do with AI, grasping that technology gap for them and helping them overcome that gap so they can 10x their ability. Because really, in the new world, it's really going to be those that adopt and those that don't. And the ones that adopt are going to be more successful than the ones that don't, because you have the potential to do it, right? It's kind of like when the iPhone came out, there was apps that little kids wrote that made $1 million. Not going to say the names because they're a little immature, but they had a good idea, took a immature idea no adult would do, and then they were able to build something amazing. Right now, we have a great opportunity to do some really cool things with AI that no one else is doing, and help our clients be successful by knowing what their intentions are and driving those intentions with AI.
So, and you would agree that at this point, it's AI is a tool to leverage, just like any other technology. It's just whatever your intention is going to enhance that, right? So if you have bad intentions, AI could be a tool to leverage those bad intentions. Or
Right.
if you have intentions for good, it will, of course, be productive, right?
Right.
With
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
power comes great responsibility.
Right. Lessons
Well,
from Uncle Ben.
we all
Yes.
had, we all lived kind of in a season where the most technology changes have ever happened probably in our generation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and in this phase, if we were slow to adapt the web, then it would affect our business. If we're slow to adapt AI, it's going to affect your business.
Yeah.
But just like the web accelerated information, AI is just 10x that ability. So now you need AI to help you read all the information that's going on, and also to be able to, be strategic as fast as your competitors.
Very good. Now I have a blog
I'm nodding
here
because I'm so in agreement with everything you say. I'm like, yeah, I love this. If you saw our clips from last week, I was really excited about this one.
Yeah, and please nod some more, Sharrin, so we can watch the tree wiggle on the top of your head.
Christmas pickle.
Yeah, the tree and the pickles. In the article or the slides here, I do have a link to an article because humans still are the experts at this, and Intuit, of course, is making no qualms about their experts are the ones that are the experts, but they also have a narrow scope of what they would be able to do, right? So as you're using AI and you're interacting with AI inside of QuickBooks and inside of the product, when it gets to a point where the machine is not going to be able to determine what it is that you need, it will recommend an expert. That expert is going to be a QuickBooks Live solution, and then if it's outside the scope of what QuickBooks Live will handle, then they'll hand it over to the real experts, which is the ProAdvisor community, right?
Do you think, is that how it's set up? Are they building their own? I feel like so I also noticed one thing. I noticed people say that they have not been getting any referrals from QuickBooks lately. And so I'm wondering, I think they're bringing them all internally to their paid I think they're trying to they're keeping everything, right? They're like, we want, your clients are actually our clients. And so we're keeping it. Just a thought there.
Yeah, the truth is somewhere in the middle, I think, somewhere. But in the grand scheme of things, that's kind of the progression of the way things are headed, right? It's let's have QuickBooks do what it can do, and then all right, well, you need some help. We have some help built into the product.
As long as everybody understands that we accountants are the middleman, and who always gets cut out in the long run. Again, Melio, Bill.com. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's their business trajectory. Of course, I'm bitter. I've been with them for a long time. We all are. But that is, in any business, cut out the middleman. And we are the middleman. So as you're building your business, remember, you're the middleman. Don't rely on anything where you're the middleman. Sorry. That's my word of the wise. If you could take anything with you through the Christmas holiday, you're the middleman when it comes to Intuit.
Yeah. And,
as an accountant, you're the middleman.
And when you look at any business, you're going to separate things into people, processes, and programs, right? And, if you have a process that is run by people, that's really not scalable if it could be a process.
Correct.
Right? So it could be automation or could be automated. And that's the direction that we're headed, not just with what we're talking about here today, but just in general, right? I mean, that's really where you're searching for efficiencies in your business. What can I do? That's, what can be automated and what can be triggered, or what can be done without my supervision, right?
And then find what cannot be done without all those things and make a career out of that for the next little bit. Because if you can go in and automate anything you do right now, that will no longer be for your clients for anything. So if you're like, I can't automate this, I still have to do this, that is where you need to aim for. Just as, again, I'm just giving out tidbits of wisdom today. These are your Christmas gifts as you go into the new year. You're welcome.
Right.
For free.
Sharrin, the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes. Yes, my husband says that all the time. He does not. He does not.
He doesn't. All right.
Why don't?
So, Bryan, let's just kind of talk about the state of affairs, the way that we're what the nature of the beast that we're in today, right? These figures that are up on the screen, it shouldn't be news, right? To people in the accounting industry, the amount of people that's out there is less, and we're kind of industries are the accounting industry is just really kind of competing on price because that's what people will say is like, well, I can just go down the street and he'll do it for cheaper. So talk a little bit about this slide here, Bryan.
Yeah. So, as we kind of have two, honestly, we right now we just have a massive learning curve is the best way to describe it. Right. It's kind of like the personal computer just got introduced, right? And you can use the personal computer and overcome your reduction in talent pool, right? And it's a matter of understanding how to use that computer, right? And it's a tool. AI is a tool. And so what you can do is that as that talent pool reduces, you're able to supplement that with having the right intentions, right? Create like a checklist. What are the things that you need to get done for this client? And how can I use AI to achieve that? How do I help clients be more profitable? What do I normally hand off to, that reduced staff? And how do I maximize that? Because basically everyone has the fear of being replaced, right? And everyone is competing on price. But right now, we got a double problem. People are expecting caviar at the price of Coke, right?
Yeah.
And they're also, so their demands are going through the roof. Like everybody's thinking, okay, AI is going to break everything down and no one's going to have anything to do. No, everybody's like expectations are going to go through the roof, right? Your website was like this. Now it needs to be like this. It needs to be like Disney or Apple. Your charts do you give your clients used to be like this. Now they need to be like you're giving the pitch to Microsoft or Google for a big investment, right? Your standards have gone up. And not only that, there's a reduction in staff, right? So you have to be able to, learn quickly how to leverage these tools, get things done faster, and offer more advisory services to your clients because your clients don't know how to do this as well as you do.
In before AI, like prior to AI, I think accountants and bookkeepers in general were models of efficiency, right? Like they had set up things to be able to streamline their process. Like I remember talking to people in QuickBooks desktop, back in those days, where they would call and say, well, how do I use the enter key to tab? Right. And there was a preference inside of QuickBooks because they could save precious seconds by using the enter key on the 10 key, having the right hand, being very efficient on the numbers side of things, and their muscle memory of the right hand rather than lifting their left hand to press the tab key to go to different fields, right?
Efficiency, Dan, efficiency.
Right. And so that's really not new, right? To make for accountants to be be finding greater efficiencies. But it's now the change is going from just being more efficient to actually evolving your service offerings from that efficiency. And I think that's where a lot of people are struggling because, I just want to do the same things that I've done all the time. I just want to do it faster. And that's where technology can help with a lot of those things, because if you don't have to put your hand on the 10 key, it doesn't matter whether tab or enter, flips to the next field, right? So really, that's the big question that a lot of people, I think, are struggling with is how do I evolve from commodity or compliance work to strategic advisory? And that's what I really love about what you have to offer, Bryan. But, Intuit has not been quiet about all of this, right? Like they've been talking about this transition or this shift for quite some time, right? They even make free training available for do-it-yourself self-study, right? You can go into your ProAdvisor Academy, go into the ProAdvisor training, and there's Client Advisory Service Foundation listed there for free, right? You can take those courses. Of course, they're very QuickBooks Online centric, right? Like this is how you can do that in QuickBooks Online, because it's, of course, not going to ask you about Xero or any other, accounting package to be able to do that. But as the little lady down in the lower right, who's got time for that, right? Like, who's got time to be able to do, that self-study and learn all of that. Yeah. So how do we get from, commodity to premium advisory? Before all of that, you had, so much a month for those commodity services. It's real easy for clients to leave. I've seen all sorts of ads on social media for what you're paying $149 for bookkeeping. I could do that for $97. They're all just kind of undercutting each other. And then if you have a staff, right, if you have a junior staff that is the people that's doing some of the processes, they have limited value, right? It's you're using the staff to leverage yourself, right? And Sharrin, you have a few staff in your
I have like almost no staff because I don't have them. But yeah, I got rid of everybody, and everybody's role was oversee the technology and handle the relationship with the client, because the technology and the AI is doing everything, all those tedious things. All my team needs to do is oversee the technology, handle the relationship with the client. And anybody here who those aren't their two tasks, those are the ones that should have answered, yes, I'm afraid AI is going to replace me, because they will. They will. Right. I mean, I don't even want to be mean about it. It's true. Shake your head, Bryan. You know it's true.
It's true. You gotta adapt.
I mean, I'm just saying it a little harsher, but
yeah.
Anyhow,
but he doesn't have a Christmas tree or pickles on his head. Or
you can say whatever you want when you have a Christmas tree and pickles on your head. I'm just saying, it just gives you the opportunity to go, hey, sorry about your life. Just kidding.
And people listening to the audio podcast are like, what are they talking about?
I have a Christmas tree on my head and Christmas pickles in my ears.
But as Joe Woodard would say at Scaling New Heights, right? Like it's not a race to the bottom anymore, right? Because the race to the bottom is going to be won by machines, because they don't sleep, they don't take breaks, they don't take, it's all the things that machines and technology is going to be able to do is going to be far more efficient than anything a human can do. And the thing that Hector Garcia at Reframe that really has resonated with me is that you automate the transactions, but then you humanize the relationship, and that's the thing that machines are not going to be able to do.
I'm trademarking that for you. Yeah.
Okay. So
wait, what was it?
Advisor.
Automate the transactions and you humanize the interactions.
Yes, or the relation. Yes, you'll have to have an Asian in there so it rhymes.
I'm trademarking that for you. That's a good one. Automate transactions and humanize the interactions. I think Hector might have something to say. Oh, well, Hector didn't trademark it, so welcome to the USA, bro.
All right. Sorry. So just like an informal poll, we're not really gonna, launch another poll, but just put in the chat a 1 if you view yourself as a leader or expert in the industries that your clients are in, not just the accounting, but the actual
your niche. Your niche.
Yes.
Right.
If you feel that you are a leader or expert, right? And then following that up.
2? Why does it say 1 or 2? Oh, wait, what? Why are people saying 1 or 2? You said put a 1.
2 if you're not. If you don't feel that you're an expert yet, right? And then for those of you that have staff, put a 3 if your junior level or entry level employees that you're bringing on are also experts. 4 if they're not, right?
If I see any 3s, they should no longer be juniors. If they're an expert, they should be.
Right, I should not see any 3s.
Kathy, there's no polling question. We're just asking you to.
Yeah, this is an informal poll, nothing efficiency, nothing official. But essentially, there's a gap there, right, between you as being the expert and the junior level staff members being the expert, right? The owners being the expert around 85% typically, and whether your staff can advise your clients is around 10%. That is the potential here that we're talking about, right, Bryan?
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the what if scenario, right? What if your junior staff, what if your entry level staff, or if you don't feel that you're the expert, what if you could deliver advice like Warren Buffett or Simon Sinek, or the authors of many strategic business strategies, and if you could apply them in 3 minutes and not 3 hours, right? Because nobody's got time to do self-study on client advisory services, retake their masters of accounting. I know some people are. Hi, Rachel. That takes a lot of effort and energy to get caught up. And I think we were having a discussion at one of the conferences where people studying for the CPA exam are being taught on obsolete material, right? Like by the time they're out there taking the exam, what they've learned to pass the exam is already obsolete. And talk about, Bryan, I want to mention that 95% success rate. Talk a little bit about that.
Our whole business is based on the ASTD study. It's a huge study that they've done. There's a book about it. It's an academic book. But basically, if you sum this giant book down, it says, hey, and it makes so much sense. Hey, Dan, if you have the right strategy, the right metric to guide that strategy, and the right accountability, you're going to be 95% more likely to hit your goal, right? And so if Dan's business is, making cash, but it has profitability issues, well, the issue might be they're spending too much money, right? So if you have the right metric, reduce your expenses, right? How much did you reduce your expenses this week, right? And then you give them the right strategy to reduce those expenses, like stack rank his vendors and say which ones are fixable versus not fixed that they can edit. And then you hold him accountable and meet with him weekly or monthly. He's going to be 95% more likely to cut his expenses and be profitable. And that's the value that we bring. Is we make it normally that kind of accountability would take hours, days to generate. We make it so you can do it in 3 minutes. So then you can have that conversation. You come in like a pro with the right strategy, with the right metrics, and you're holding them accountable to what matters to their business. Now you become an advisor that's going to help them. And then you can see the impact you're making. So if you work with them and you say, hey, we said, Dan, we're going to work on this, right? And you were at, your profitability was at 5%. And now we worked over the 90 days and now it's at 15%. You've tripled your revenue, right? Your profit. What do you want to do next? And you keep that dialogue going, because it's proven that companies that look at their books regularly, make decisions based on it, are much more profitable than the ones that don't. And all of this stuff that I'm saying makes sense. It's just, have you ever had it rolled up in an app where you made those conversations easier and automated them for you so you can be able to go and do the advisory services like a pro?
Yeah, because I do a lot of conversions, desktop to QuickBooks Online. And immediately after I do the conversion, I go into the QuickBooks Online company, and there's a little banner there that says, we've got your November monthly summary already available. And it comes up and it gives all sorts of great data. But then looking at it, like, what do I do with that? Right. Here's all sorts of anomaly detections and things like that, but it doesn't give me any kind of action plan to actually do anything with that. So like we're like in that example, we know how to get the data in one place. We know how to create these financial reports. We know how to do all this stuff and put it in front of someone. But what do you do with that, right? Like here's all the ingredients. We've got Julia Childs with all of her bon appetit, right? Here's all the pre-cut onions and everything. What are we going to make out of this, right? And if you serve multiple verticals, like, if you have real estate or restaurant or e-commerce, how can you be an expert in all of them? So let's talk about a solution, right, which is Autymate, right? So where did this come from? Where did this evolve from, Bryan?
Where did this evolve from? Like the
Well,
app,
how did Autymate come to be?
Yeah, so about 10 years ago, we got into integration space, and we did a lot of integration. So we still do a lot of integrations for large franchises, some of them with thousands of locations, doing the point of sale integration. But we found that a lot of these companies, they have all this great data because we're putting it in QuickBooks correctly, but they're not actually looking at it. They're not being strategic. And, because like reports don't really help you unless you look at them and you take action, right? And so we came up with the AI Growth Advisor to help businesses actually stop drowning in data, but actually start looking at the data. Like, for instance, there was a large franchise brand that we used our system for, and they spent so much time entering data into QuickBooks that before they met us, that they didn't know there was fraud going on. A week after we integrated, they actually started looking at the numbers, and they realized that someone was stealing money, right? And we have a pretty nice blog about Jimmy John's on our website. You can learn about it. But once they realized that, they realized all this time they've been spending all their time entering their numbers, but not looking at them. And so how do you get clients to actually make decisions? Because really it's the decisions that they make this week that actually matter to their business. And so we want to help businesses stop drowning in the data, stop working on getting the data in, but also getting strategic decisions. And a lot of times, you need ideas, right? Like profit first. Why don't we flip it and make it so you take your profit first, then you pay everybody, then you're actually forced to take money home. And that's why you started this business in the first place, right? Take these great book ideas and implement them for your clients. And we have book summaries and all that available on our website. Right now we have 1,500 books available.
And
that's so cool. I want to see how this works. I'm like really I'm enthralled. I really am excited about this. And I don't even do this kind of work anymore, but I am excited about seeing how it works.
And one of the things, every time that we talk about, a new technology or a new player in the QuickBooks space, right? The last thing we want to do is adopt it, get involved with it, and then vaporware, they're gone, right? So you guys have been around for a while. I mean, you have, 667 5-star reviews for Autymate transactions.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's probably on the higher end of most apps on the App Store right now. So we have amazing support. We have 8 support options. And, we actually don't use AI to answer all your questions. We actually meet with people and actually have a conversation and show people how to use the app. Yeah, we're doing the opposite. So, because we want to hold people's hands and build that relationship.
You're humanizing the relationship, right?
Oh, that's my nightmare. When someone's like, we need to teach you. I'm like, nope, let me in. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just went through this yesterday. But I'm not everybody. I'm a nut job.
No, we offer both sides, automated and not.
All right.
We do want people to not have to feel like, there's no person behind our business.
One of those. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dan. Yeah, you're good.
I was just going to say, one of those 5-star reviews is me.
Wow.
Because I wanted to. Every month I was downloading a CSV from Bill.com, massaging it so that I could, import it properly, and through you guys and Jahar, who's actually, lurking in the background answering questions. He helped me create a way to automate that, so that all I had to do was download the CSV and upload it through your platform, and it brought the transaction with line item detail into my QuickBooks. So save me, a half hour to an hour every month just by doing that. So really, anytime that you can create efficiencies is far better than, just trying to figure things out, or how do I change the enter key into a tab key. So talk about this. This is what is really exciting for me, for what you guys are doing. You are taking book summaries. So talk about how best-selling books are incorporated into your platform.
Yeah, so we have a patent pending process where we're able to take 1,500 business books that create 7,000 strategies that the AI can recommend for your clients. Now, we do finance, marketing, legal, operations, and sales, which are the 5 pillars of the business, right? So as you grow in your AI using our tool, you can actually go in and not just focus on the financials, but you can focus on the other 4 categories. Because a business, if any of those 5 categories fail, you're going out of business eventually, right? Because you got to be good at all 5. I went to a career thing for my kids. Someone asked me, "What do you do?" And I said, "I own a business." And I was like, "Guys, you don't want to do that. You got to be good at finance, marketing, operations, sales, legal, all of these things you got to be good at. And the bigger you get, the bigger target you become, right?" And so, I want to make this easier for people. You don't have time to read all these books. You don't have time to be good at legal. You don't have time to be good at your financials. So about 1,000 of the strategies we have are focused on, and we haven't loaded the full system. It's going to be loaded here soon. We have several strategies available, but we're loading them all. They should all be there by probably January 10th. So it's a free gift for you guys. You guys can log in. It's better than Blinkist, a short form. Our quality content is better. All the strategies are readable. You can click on them and apply them in one click of a button. But 1,000 of these are focused on like profit first. My favorite is using Parkinson's law for expense elimination. And you can just click these and apply it, but you can also just have a conversation with your data, right? A lot of people spend a lot of this time and they take all their data out of QuickBooks and put it in an Excel sheet and then have a conversation with ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
That's a time-consuming process. This does it way better, and then it gives you a bunch of strategies you can offer your clients. So you can say, "Hey, I just read the book summary, not the whole book, about profit first. How would you like to implement that for your business?" And then educate them, because a training sell is always the best type of sell to do, right? And so then you could pick out, a different book strategy or same one for all your clients, and then offer those. And so it's real simple. Like we're going to give you a link. You can schedule a profit challenge. You can literally take one of your clients, we'll connect their QBO and give you 3 strategies you can share with them that'll increase their profitability.
I'm going to launch the second poll question here. Do you have time to keep up with the latest and greatest strategies? While you're answering that, so let's talk about, and this is one of the things that when you were sharing this with me, that a lot of times these applications, they only connect with QuickBooks, right? You have a platform that allows them to connect with other areas of their business, right?
We currently connect to about 500 systems. So QuickBooks is just one of the systems that we connect to. But in that system, one of many, yes. And so what you can do is create a single pane of glass for your customers where they can see everything in one place. QuickBooks only shows you the after the fact historical. It doesn't show you how it happened. That's usually in your CRM or your point of sale system, right? And having that data available to help your clients can not just say, "Hey, here's what you need to do to reduce your expenses. Here's why it's happening."
Yeah, the why. I agree. Sorry.
Yeah. And so
everybody just tells you you should, but they don't. I'm that type where they're like, "No, don't do that." Why? I'm not debating you. Teach me why not to, or to do something so I understand the process, right? Anyhow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But you have to have the whole picture.
Just so agree with you.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So having access, these other pillars of a business, and having potential connections into that, and with having various other book strategies in there, you could actually expand your advisory, not just a financial advisory, but marketing and sales and operations. So that's that's one of the really, I think this is where this option is, there's so much more potential for those that are trying to figure out how to get into advisory. One, it's making it easier to get to advisory because you don't have to sit there and read Profit First and figure out what are the 7 strategies in Profit First and how do I apply them to my clients' books. Or, well, okay, let's talk about Simon Sinek, right? Like, or those other things that are going to be ultimately in your platform.
Plus, it also I want to say something. Plus, it also goes into the last slide where we said bookkeeper is almost like a bad word, right? So we're trying to find ways to be valuable to our clients because they're going and they're like, I outsource this to India for $10 a month. I don't need you anymore. And you're like, all right, let's see how that goes. But in the meantime, let me bring value to your operations. But I also would say, accountants, please don't try to jump into marketing if it's not your forte, because I can tell you accountants, that's the one thing, because that's like creative and most of our brains are here and we can't switch over. That's the one thing I outsource. Get your outsource person to use this for marketing. Just saying, Don't do it.
All right. So, so do you want to share how this works and how the platform looks? So let me go ahead and stop sharing here.
Can you guys see my screen?
It is thinking about it.
There we go. Now I can.
Awesome. Well, perfect. So right here, I've shared the link with you guys, Audi.io play. And it's this event, Books to Books, right? And this is your landing page. Okay, so couple things. One, thanks for joining us to this webinar. I really appreciate it. Leaving you with this package here. We're going to update it after the webinar so it has more information. If there's a bug in it, if there's an issue, let us know. There's a feedback button. We'll fix it immediately. Okay. If there's any issues today, we'll have it done and fixed by the end of the night. This is a new page we came up with today. Okay. But what we're going to do is after you learn about this webinar, we're going to offer you the opportunity to schedule a profit challenge, right? And so you can do a 15, 30. Now you have to do a 30 or 40, technically a 45-minute with a QuickBooks file to get the gift card. If we can't give you 3 strategies to help your business be more profitable, right? So that's our guarantee. We're so confident. You meet with us, we'll literally connect your QBO file. We have to connect your little fine print. We have to connect your QBO file. It has to have 2 years of data, at least 500,000 of records. Then we can give you 3 strategies you can share with your client in a trial that you can use. Okay.
Is that 500,000 across the 2 years, or is it less?
You could say 500,000 across 2 years. I mean, it needs to have some money in it to actually help them.
Got
right?
You. Just clarifying, and I know the second thing they're going to ask is this in Xero? Is there a Xero connection yet?
No, there's not a Xero where you can just click and do this in 3 minutes, right?
Okay. I just know that's a question that's going to come up.
Yeah, we're working on the Xero, but we do have the best QuickBooks reporting and integrations, and our product includes integrations and reporting. So what that has the 655 stars, it also includes integrations, so you can automate and you can do your reporting, right?
So if I'm using something like Digits or Xero, I know I'm cutting you off again, but I know this is coming. I'm helping. We have a lot of QuickBooks users here, but some of them have other clients. So if I'm like, hey, I want to implement this for my clients, 70% are on QuickBooks. I have some I'm moving to Digits, whatever. I know you don't integrate to Digits or Xero, but if I do export the data, does it have to be integrated, or can I export it or import it in so I can use it with my other accounting software as well?
Yeah, so you can just schedule a meeting. We can work with you. We currently connect to Xero, right? But it's not like, I'm going to show how easy it is.
Okay.
And the slick flow is not done for Xero, right?
Got you. Okay.
But we can still connect and work with Xero. Okay.
Sounds good.
So let's go here. You click this button, and when you go in here, you're gonna have a little form, just your first and last name, your title, and then you can go in here and then you can see these interactive tutorials we talked about. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go to theater mode here on this, and this is the real app. I created this morning. I'm gonna go to movie mode, okay? And Dan showed me this tool yesterday. So Scribe, where I could do this. So it's pretty cool.
What?
And so I implemented this thanks to Dan, right? And so right here, you have our dashboard. What's really nice about this dashboard is you can have all your clients. What we typically recommend is you group all your clients, in buckets. Like, you got your shipping, you got your fitness, you got your, different types of clients. And then you kind of you can work on them all together in one dashboard, right? And so technically, you have, 5 things that matter to your business. You got your revenue, your cost of goods sold, your operating expenses, your 4-wall profitability, right? And if you're really advanced, your profit centers, right? If you're selling lemonade and you're making 50 cents on a dollar and you're selling cookies, you're making 10 cents on a dollar, tell that client to sell more lemonade. So those kind of things are really helpful for clients. And this is kind of a really simple view to help them succeed. And you have all their employees here where they have their own scorecards. And so what you can do is you can click on any one of these tiles, and it's going to drill in and show you where they need help, right? But there's a little Audi guy at the top, and his job is to get you used to this system. So you click this button, you can say start with proven strategies from books or analyze my data. This is the interactive tutorial we have in the app. You click this button, and it's going to walk you through how to get started using the system. The first step is you're going to pick what month you want to focus on. Technically, you want to pick a month that has good data, so make sure it's a closed period, right? Then what you're going to do is you're going to look at the scorecard and you're going to see, hey, where the AI actually creates goals when we look at 2 years of their goals and say, what should they be at based on their industry? It actually creates the goals. Now you can customize them, and then it tells you how much money you're going to make if you hit the goals. So if they hit their goals, they would have making $26,000, right? And more money, right? And so we're kind of helping that conversation with the client. Hey, if you hit these goals, you can do this. Then what you can do is you can choose any model. We currently connect to Grok, ChatGPT, Claude 4.5, Opus. You literally can use the premium models in our system. And you can choose the ones you want. You can choose what kind of output you want. You want a diagram, an infographic, a website, and it can build those things for you. And it knows about your business. And we patented this process. It's very complicated. Everyone says that development's dead. Honestly, my head hurts more now than it ever hurt in the past because I have to think 10 times harder to get some dumb model to do something exceptional, right?
And it moves so fast.
It moves so fast. So it's harder now, right? Because engineering prompts is harder than writing code in a lot of ways, right? Because it's hard to get, you can't predict what it's going to do. And it's secret. They don't even know how it works in some cases, right? It's all probability. They can't control it. So it is like the Terminator a little bit. It could go out of whack someday. It is unpredictable
until 1 a.m. until Gronk starts talking with ChatGPT. That's when I think they'll become self-aware.
Oh my God! If Claude jumps in there, we're all in trouble.
That's true. So right here, you can create your strategy. When you create a strategy, so notice this is Profit First, and this is actually using the methodology from Profit First, performing surgical expense elimination. Now, there's a little guide button in the upper right-hand corner. You can click that, and you can read that specific section of the book or the book summary. We're providing education as part of this process, right? So think about it. You're getting 1,500 business books, a bunch of strategies now. And then you can go in here and you can see the strategy. Now, what's really nice is this is editable. Have you ever wanted ChatGPT or Claude to make an editable document you can share with your clients? I just edited this right here, and it's an editable document. You can just edit it here. But if you don't like it, let's say that you don't want to focus on a certain thing, you can change it and it creates another version. You just type in the chat and it creates a new version. The most important thing here is you want to assign it to the business owner or their team. And then they get a special scorecard that shows you, hey, you're at 84% of your goal and you kept your streak. And this is about gamification, right? If you can get people to do the right thing the right number of times, eventually they're going to be successful, right? And what it does is it gives, right here, we're giving them the right metrics to hit that goal, right? Which is reducing the expenses. So if you saw at the beginning of the demo, they were at 3 times the expected operating expenses, right? So we created a strategy using the book Profit First, expense elimination.
Real quick, do any of my other accountants, can anybody else not, when you hear Profit First, you cringe? I have my whole niche of my firm I just sold, almost all of them are Profit First. And I'm like, 900 accounts of transfers each, you know, I don't know. I don't know if it's only me. When I see profit first, I'm like, oh, anyhow, keep going.
Yeah, a nice thing too is this.
I know
this
it's a
thing
good strategy.
has the whole general ledger, and so it knows how to read everything from their books, right? And so when we run this, it's actually able to say, hey, you know, it knows what their expenses are, who their vendors are. It knows how to apply the strategy. It knows about the business. And if you spent maybe 20 hours with ChatGPT, you might be able to get something that close to what we're able to do with that one prompt. And then what the client's going to do is they're going to keep their streak. They're going to say, hey, I'm going to reduce my expenses, right? Now you have an easy way to either have that meeting with them or have them check in with you and say what I'm going to do. And then you can see, okay, are they on track? Are they doing those things they said they were going to do? Because they need accountability. So we kind of did the full circle. That person, we looked at their, let me go to slide mode so I can kind of walk you through it, a 5,000 foot view. So we saw that their expenses were 3 times the amount. Right, they're at 75%. They're supposed to, you know, the market for them is 33. Their operating expenses are way too high, right? Then we chose to create a strategy. We picked the period that we wanted. We chose the report, and then the AI we picked harness, you know, perform surgical expense elimination, right? Once we did that, then the AI took over, and then you've got an editable strategy, and you shared it with the client. So now they have a strategy, the right metric, and weekly accountability, right? How would you guys like to create that with all of your clients, right? So the next thing you need to learn is how to have those meetings. And so if we go over here to the theater here, we're going to go to this one, and let me change it to
and people can review these tutorials in that link that we shared, right?
Yes, and we'll put the video from this in here as well, so they have all of that for this link. So you literally have a package of everything you need.
One-stop shop.
So one-stop shop, right? And so right here, you know, notice this client is at 89%, okay? Operating expenses, and their market is 33%, right? Now, three of your locations are way over on operating expenses, and they're based on their budget, their forecast. And we kind of have, in this thing, we have a triple scorecard. You have forecast, benchmarks, and the ability to see how much cash they're going to make if they hit the goal. And that's what gets people excited when you meet and say, hey, look, if you hit this goal, you're going to make this much more money. So we're going to focus just on one of your clients here. So if we go in here and you go to the filters up here. The first thing you're going to do when you meet with a client is you're going to review their gamification, right? And so let me speed this up a little bit. So I don't think we have much time. So you have the gamification screen. Okay, well, right now they only have one week streak so far, right? They only did 1 week. Your job is to get them to do many weeks, right? And be consistent and check in on that strategy, because most people don't look at the reports enough to make a decision, right? And so we have a gamification button in the upper right. You click it, and then you basically enter what your client enters what they're gonna do this week to help hit that goal, all right? Hold them accountable. This is optional. You can turn it on or off. But when you have that meeting, what you want to do is focus on that one client. Now, when the client logs in to the system, they only see their location. If they're a multi-store owner, they can see 3 or however many locations. And if they're a franchise, they can see 1,000. This thing's perfect for multiple entities, right? Now, if you choose the location that you're looking at, let's say we're going to focus on, this one individual location. You see one studio here. This is a kind of like a fitness example. You can change the vernacular for the client, like studio or shipping hub or whatever. Notice that they're going to make $26,000 more if they hit the goal. Now we have a trend line here on the dashboard. If you have one location, we show the dashboard, and you can see, the previous period versus the current period and the trends over the last year. Now, the cool thing is in the reports, have you ever wanted to assign something to your client from the reports? Well, this is how you do it. You click the little 39 button, and then you have a conversation with AI. Right over here is all the different strategies that you created for this client over time. You can archive them, and you can update them, right? Now, we don't have to use a book. What you can do in this case is I typed in a strategy that was, hey, give me the top vendor expenses that they have, that are not fixed. And then it created this report, and it used the entire general ledger to do that. So it says, tell me the top vendor expenses that are not fixed, I can reduce, stack rank them, and give me the single easiest way to reduce those expenses. Now, what I wanted to show you, see how it says context data? This has the whole GL from February to November. So you're talking hundreds of thousands of records going through AI, understanding the business, and being able to run it against any model in seconds. Creates the strategy that becomes editable. You say create strategy. Now it creates an official document you can share with the client. These are editable like a Word document. And if you don't like something in it, like let's say you don't want to focus on rent, because rent's really high in this example, you could just type in, hey, remove payroll, wages, and focus on the top expenses, right? And then it will give you a new version with those changes. So that way, that's intent management, right? You know what's best for the client. You can control that. Now that creates version 2, right? And then when version 2 is created, you can then share version 2 with the client, and it's an editable document you can share with the client, and you assign it, and the metrics go with it. So right now it's that, those costs, right? So it's creating the second version. Now here you got the new version. It's exactly the way you want. Then you can assign that strategy to your client, to someone on your team as well. And then once you assign that to them, it shows up in their scorecard, and you can have that conversation. Here's your metrics. You're 3 times higher on your operating expenses. Here's the strategy. Here's the vendors you need to cut. Here's how you need to cut them. And we're going to meet weekly or monthly to do that. And here's a gamification screen to make that easy and kind of have that conversation. Now, by the way, I'm going to give you these insights all the time. Intuit says you typically have people have $100,000 in extra expenses every year on average in their books, right? That's one of their statistics. You just say, hey, I'll get you 40% of that or 20% of that, right? I'm just going to charge you $1,000, $2,000 more for this additional service. We're going to do your books. We're going to give you a strategy. We're going to hold your hand, and we're going to make you make those decisions, because it's hard to get people to cut costs. It's hard to get people to make those hard decisions, and they need accountability. You can be that hero.
You basically turn it into a game. And Sharrin, now, this is kind of like a blind reaction for you, because you hadn't been in any in the preparation.
We know I do not like preparation, dry runs. I just like to show up and wing it. Come to any of my classes when I teach. I did a deck 4 months prior, and I don't remember what it is. It's wing it. All right, go ahead.
But you have a whole community called Clone and Conquer, right? And how do you see this as helping those folks that are part of
the amount of notes I have right now is insane. I have 2 clients I'm a fractional CFO for, because I love them and I just can't let them go. That's how and plus it keeps me in the game, right? And this is one of the things where when they come in at first, they're like, do our reports. I'm like, that's, okay, but that's CFOs do more than that. And so something like this is actually going to be huge for one of my clients, because I've been going through a lot of different things more manually, back and forth with ChatGPT. But I was also looking at our surveys there, which, the QuickBooks Power Hour audience is a lot of my audience for my community. And a lot of people are saying, I just don't know how to get into it. I don't even know how to have the conversation with the clients. And this is a great conversation starter, especially end of year is when I try to do it. Hey, let's do an end of year free strategy. Let me give you a free assessment and give them, here's these 3 things. Don't tell them how to do it or anything, but here's a real high level what I can save you, which is all clients care about. Get them on the phone with you, and then just talk to them like I'm just telling you, oh, you want to do it? Great. Then here's the cost. And I think this is a really good tool to utilize that gives you all the information you need. And I'm not being paid to say this. Bryan don't know me. I just met Bryan right now, but I do love technology, and I do know that the biggest issue in the accounting community is, how do I get in this client advisory? And this is an excellent tool that I'm really surprised with that many reviews that I have never seen it. I'm actually like,
best
where
kept
have
secret.
I been? I know, where you been, Bryan? You need to throw a party at Intuit Connect or something. If there ain't a party, I ain't heard of you, but we could talk about that later. I'm really good at party planning, I found out. No,
But
this is amazing.
this
And
is
I actually told my community to join this. I'm like, you better join in. This tool seems really cool. So hopefully, if you're in my community, pop up, tell us. Anyhow,
Yeah, I see a lot of people asking about pricing. I'm sending the
crickets.
pricing page in there for you guys so you guys can look at it. It's priced based on number of locations. The more locations you have, the cheaper it gets, right? So if you have 20, 30 clients, the price goes down substantially. If you have just one, it's a little more expensive. And then
Talk to
it's
me. What
based
does
on
that
the
mean?
number of connections.
Locations. Is that so? Are we paying per client? Like, so if I have 100 clients and 15 of them are, I want to put them on here, but they only have one location. So am I paying for 15 or what does that mean? What does location mean?
Yeah, so when I change it to, you choose franchise, small business, or CPA. When you
Oh,
change it to CPA,
okay.
the vernacular changes to clients. So now it
Got
makes
you.
sense. So when you go to our pricing page, which I'm going to put in that one pager that I'm giving you guys, so you guys can get to it. We have 4 different plans, right? But mainly as you go up in your number of locations, the price goes down, right? And so if you have, as you can see here, if you look at the pricing details, the cost goes down by 57% if you have 48 locations, right? And we also do have enterprise pricing. If you have a lot of clients, you just we'll get a custom quote for you.
right. But one of the questions that people are asking about pricing is like, how do I price this to my client? And it makes it super simple because you can see the numbers at that point when it becomes, like what Sharrin was saying about, like, hey, let's just meet up for a few strategies.
Yeah.
You'll be able to know the potential savings, and you can tie your price with the potential savings, right? So like whatever the value, the potential of what they could actually do in their business, and knowing that you have a 95% success rate if we follow this strategy, you can tie your fees to a portion of what they would save. Like, hey, if you're going to save $500,000, 10% is a no-brainer, right? Like, if I could teach you how to save them $500,000,
right? And I don't like to give away things for free. If you give them away for free, the client finds no value. But what I do like to do is find the clients that, I know this would be valuable to, and offer hey, end of the year, I just want to do a quick strategy. Something that takes you only a few minutes, make sure it's very, repeatable. So you're not doing a lot of different work. And think of it more as like a sales or a marketing call. Like, hey, here's these things that popped out real quick. Let me show this to you. And then at that point, you can, like I said, hey, I'm going to save you $100,000 next year. On my strategy savings, I charge 10% of what I save you. But if we want to keep talking through this, my advisory is X. And then they find more value in you as saving them money because they don't find it in your bookkeeping. I don't mean to be that mean. I've had 3 bookkeeping firms. They don't. And I know they don't. Right? They're just not finding it anymore. But that's AI. So anyhow.
Right. Well, we are a little bit over on time. We appreciate,
as always,
those of you that stuck around to finalize this. I did launch the last poll question while we were chatting there. So we appreciate you joining us. Now, next time in a couple weeks, we are going to skip
the hiatus, man.
The next one, which will be 2 days before Christmas. So figuring people got other things to do rather than joining us for a power hour. So we'll skip the next one, and then we'll start talking in the new year about 1099. So join us for that. Bryan, thanks again for coming on. And the best kept secret in accounting is now hopefully no longer the best kept secret, because now people are aware. Now that Sharrin knows, I don't think.
Blow this sucker up. It's kind of cool.
Any final thoughts there, Bryan?
Well, I just on that link I sent, I just put in the chat. Just join. The best way to get started is just sign up for a meeting with us, and then we'll walk you through the process. Use a real client and give you strategies, white label it for you, get you all set up, and then give you a free trial so you can share it with your clients.
Oh, see, that's Perfect.
And
Sorry.
we'll do it. We'll do all the heavy lifting, get you in there. And once you get in there, it gets addicting because then you can like ask questions and get things done faster than you've ever done before. And it's
Right.
kind of fun.
It's kind of
and
like
it's
the
going to bring
10 keys.
value. Yeah.
It's
Well, I mean,
it's
if you can do something like this and you bring this into your business, you're not gonna have to worry about being replaced. Like you're just not. That's why my firm, we did taxes and bookkeeping and everything in one, and payroll in one, because nobody's going to any other expert that they're like, I'm gonna go over here, right? They know more. I kept it in-house with different experts handling it. But something like this is just going to allow you to really grow into that advisory and not lose your clients. Give them something valuable, which is saving money.
Yeah, and
Love
I
it.
think the biggest takeaway is that AI is not going to take your job or your client away, but someone who has adopted AI is like
that's
going
fair.
to take
Yes.
your client away, right? It'll either lap you or launch you, and this is something that you can use to leverage to launch yourself and get yourself up to speed to be able to make that leap to client advisory services even faster than, well, okay, I'll take the ProAdvisor training that they give me for free.
Okay.
So
Love it.
thanks again for joining us today, Sharrin. It's always wonderful to see you and your pickle earrings and Christmas hat. And hope everybody has a blessed holiday season, and we will see you next year on the Power Hour.
Happy holidays, everyone.